Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to give it another 30 seconds or so for people to join, and then we'll kick things off. At that time, I will pass it over to our Chief Revenue Officer, Will Pendleton.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We are here in our monthly installment from the crew at the Loan Store, and we've got some great guests with us today. We're going to talk about solutions and approaches that can help in a challenging market. The installment is entitled The Winning Approach for Brokers. I'm really excited to welcome our guests today because we're talking about innovative products. We're talking about grassroots efforts to really get at the core fundamental strength of how we can kind of lock arms and make progress in a challenging market, right? Because there is opportunity even in a higher rate environment. Some would say this is the time to strike, right, as opposed to go into defense mode. So again, thanks for joining us. We're going to do this every month where we have an opportunity to engage with our strategic partners. We're going to talk about some really exciting product solutions. We're going to always have an opportunity to feature people who are moving the needle and moving things forward for brokers. And the first person that I'm really excited to introduce to the group and to the audience is Cody Stevens. Welcome, Cody.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here.
Yeah. So Cody, little background. Cody has been a loyal partner of ours for the last several years. I think we met back in 2019 at one of the first AIM events, and I was like, "Who's this kid next to me?" Because he was kind of like had that Doogie Howser vibe, man. Just really sharp, ahead of his years, and since then really gotten to do a good bit of business together and form a strong partnership and additionally a friendship. Cody's someone I very much look up to and value in the industry. And Cody, I'm excited to have you because you have a unique perspective, right? You've got the perspective of that broker owner that's built multiple brands, but then specific in the mortgage business, you've done a lot over the last several years, and then additionally you're a serial entrepreneur is I think the way I would say it, in a complimentary way, always looking for new opportunities to pursue. And I'm excited to learn and have the audience learn a little bit more about your newest venture, X Squared. And in talking about the market conditions, because you and I talk a lot, right? I just keep coming back to the theme of how aligned we are in our approach and our perspective and our view on what it takes to be successful in this market. So again, my friend, I appreciate you joining us. Can you give us a little bit of background? Let's start with a little bit of background about you to give us some historical context for those who aren't familiar with Mr. Cody Stevens. So why don't I kick it over to you?
Yeah, I mean, to keep it light without going through the boring history of how people generally present themselves. I started in the mortgage business 2015 with my mom. My mom's been in the mortgage business since 1991. So I've been very blessed to have some incredible mentors, her being one included. But bringing it to present day and kind of how some of this has been able to translate. I mean, what we've been talking about a lot here, not only at Capital, but with the new team, with X Squared and some of the ventures that we're pursuing on that realm, is that you walk into this market and everybody's fearful, everybody's in fight or flight, and the problem is when you're in fight or flight as a human being or as a team or an organization, you cannot grow. It's physically impossible. It's mentally impossible. You can't look at a target because you're simply just either running away from the one you're at or running towards something else that is purely just a reaction to the external forces. And that's a big problem. It's a big problem that not only we're experiencing in the mortgage business, but we're experiencing across all industries really right now, across the country. And so one of the things that we've really honed into with this new company with X Squared and what we're doing there is really about developing the opportunity for people to take this chance in the market right now, which I see as a blessing. It's really hard to think that way when you're struggling, right? We've been seeing, 2019, 2020, 2021. These were golden years in the mortgage business, record-setting years across the board. It was a lot of fun to make a lot of money, and there was a lot of turmoil in growth, but it was nothing compared to what we're dealing with right now in terms of just the mental shift that we're all having to experience. So there's a big opportunity here. When you see the economy slow down, when you see markets slow down, uh, any savvy investor will tell you that you don't invest in a stock when it's at the top. You want to catch that stock on the way up, and in fact, the best opportunity is to catch that stock at the very bottom. So that's exactly where we're at today. We're at a valley in the roller coaster of business and economics, and we have an opportunity to really get in on the ground floor of some incredible chances over the next several years. So that's what X Squared is about. X Squared is really set up for two reasons. Number one is we go into businesses to help them seize opportunities, overcome obstacles, solidify their operations, their cultures, and their developmental processes so that they can take advantage of opportunities in markets like we have today. That business is really centered around one core solution of really going at helping keep wealth in the middle class. When you see economic shifts like this, there's always a massive wealth shift with it. We saw it in 2020 with the pandemic and some of the things that went on with that, and there was a massive wealth shift. So one of our biggest things is we're really working on empowering small businesses to continue growing and expanding by doing some of those things, and obviously very applicable to the mortgage world. One of the things that we've done is take the same processes that allowed us to build a $400 million annual production pipeline and building programs for loan officers as well to be able to replicate some of those processes. So we're working kind of across industries just purely because I've got experience in the mortgage business, but ultimately our goal is to help small businesses across the board keep wealth in the middle class so that we can continue to close some of these wealth gaps and stimulate the economy in a really healthy way and continue to grow this country in one of the most beautiful places in the world.
I love it. I love it. And it's great hearing your perspective on, the opportunity that exists in a challenging market because, I see the same thing. And it's certainly what I've always been told from my mentors and experienced in different market cycles. Now is the time to build and to grow when others are running for the hills, frankly, right? Those who stand and support their referral partners are going to have even stronger relationships and opportunities on the other side. So again, we're very aligned in our view on things. One thing I want you to drill in for us is I do understand there's a broad, value chain that you offer with the coaching and business planning strategy and culture for corporations as you discussed. But one thing I'd like for you to share with us is how are you helping the individual originator? What are you doing to help those folks at this moment in time? How are you doing that?
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, we set up an Instagram page called Mortgage Tips, and it was so blatantly by accident. We set it up kind of as a I don't even know why we did it. It was just kind of on a whim, and organically over the course of the last 2 years, this page just continues to grow. And I think we're up to like 5,400 followers. And I mean, to put that in perspective, these are all pretty much loan officers. So the fact that we even have that big of a following on this Instagram page is ridiculous because we hardly ever post on it or anything. So what we recognized very quickly, to keep it short, was we recognized that there are a lot of loan officers in this business that are looking for ways to grow. In fact, if you look at the statistics, I believe only 20% of loan officers ever reach six figures. And that you can do the reverse math on that to tell you how many loan officers just never make it in this business altogether. So one of the things that we decided on doing over the course of kind of just seeing this upstream with interaction on this page, et cetera, was what we recognized was, look, there's a big opportunity out there to help loan officers understand and realize how this industry can help them not only make money, but really build a vehicle that can create their lives. I mean, this industry has been incredible to me over the last 10 years. I've been able to build a real estate portfolio and open other businesses and use it to fund a lot of different projects and really just, I mean, become a vehicle to create my entire life in a lot of different financial aspects and personal aspects. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's been incredible to me. And I just, I started in the business in 2013. 2014 was a very similar market to what we're dealing with now, not necessarily on the interest rate side, but very much on the trajectory of growth. It was very difficult to get a loan done. Interest rates were low, but guidelines were incredibly strict. It was tough. It was a really tough market to grow in. So what we realized was, look, over the course of my career, I pretty much built my entire production line off of Instagram, using social media, or using some of these growth tactics on modern platforms that we have today. And I've still continued to this day, almost 10 years later, recognize that there are very, very few people utilizing these platforms intelligently to grow. So we've done over $50 million a year consistently for the last 6 years on Instagram alone, organic, with no paid traffic. So one of the small products that we've put together recently is to help loan officers not have to reinvent the wheel, but actually implement processes in their business that we can actually we literally implant them into their business and help them duplicate this process that we've used to consistently produce business. I mean, you're talking 50 million production. That's, for a loan officer, if you're talking about an average 1% comp, you're talking about $500,000 a year in income. So this is something that we're very passionate about, because I see all these loan officers spinning their wheels and struggling and thinking about the next thing. And while that is absolutely important in times like this to be creative and think expansive, we also just got to get back to the basics and think about how we can use the platforms that are in front of us. And what I say at Gapital is be in the shoe department. You got to be the person that's available when the customer needs you. And there's a lot of loan officers missing out on that opportunity today, just not simply knowing how to market themselves or get themselves in front of the right people.
I love it. Couldn't agree more. It is funny that, as much as we talk about social media, what I've seen is I would echo exactly what your perspective is that we've been slow to adopt as an industry. We've been really slow to really fully optimize, what social media can do for the individual to grow their business. So before we transition to our next speaker, where do you want to take this, Cody? Where do you want to take X Squared? What's your mission? Can you give us a parting thought?
Yeah, I can give a definite look into some of the inspiration that I see around the world and kind of how we're going to play a good part in this. I mean, we have a lot of opportunity in front of us, as I said earlier, and there is a big, big, big opportunity to really empower each other from an individual and communal perspective. We live in the greatest place on earth from every aspect that you can possibly imagine. And the backbone of this country has been built off small businesses and entrepreneurs and people like the people on this call. So being able to really jump in and help them continue to develop their businesses and grow, and we got some really fun stuff coming out over the next few months, but I'll leave that to a release date. But overall, being able to come together, help each other, empower each other, and build off each other is a really, really powerful thing. And I'll leave it on this. The world is craving human interaction, human connection more than anything on the planet today. With the rise of technology, AI, social media, all this craziness, you guys have seen some of the craziness that's come out of that, especially over the last few years. The number one solution to that is building communities and helping cultures develop the next generation. So that's what we're really all about.
That's awesome. It's awesome. Thank you so much for spearheading things, my man. We will have a lot more from Cody in the future, and he's going to hang with us to take questions at the end. So, with the next speaker, I'm going to jump to is got a really awesome, what I like to call a differentiator that we're very excited about, and that is the Buy Before You Sell program. So, I'm going to go over to Sam from Homelight. Sam, can you hear me?
I can, Will. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So just to start it off, again, thanks for having me. I think it's pretty obvious what the Loan Store is doing to differentiate themselves, right? And realistically differentiate their partner mortgage brokers. So me, along with a few other people on this call, are presenting products that mortgage brokers previously didn't have access to, right? These are products designed to make you more competitive and compete in this open market or compete in this market, right? So what we have is Buy Before You Sell. It's designed, one, to help you grow your own business and add another tool to your tool belt. But what it enables you to do is help contingent clients. So theoretically, you now have access to a modern bridge solution that clients need to move forward on their new purchase mortgage, or contingent clients need to move forward on their new purchase mortgage. We do this through two ways, but we have three major propositions, right? The first thing we do is provide a backup offer on the property. It's a backup offer for a few different reasons, but we don't need to get there. What the backup offer enables you and the agent to do is remove the pending sale contingency directly from the client's next offer, helping them win faster, helping them put a more competitive offer in, right? Can your clients even win with a pending sale offer in your market right now, right? But two, it enables you, the mortgage broker, to omit the departing resident's mortgage liability directly on their new debt to income ratio. Like, what a tool, right? So these clients 3 months ago that you told have a 75 DTI with both mortgages and can't cover both, boom, you have a solution for them, right? On top of that, we provide a 0% bridge loan, giving buyers access to about 75% of the value of their home, right, of their departing residence, to use as a down payment on their new purchase mortgage. So what we're saying is, if the departing residence is worth $1 million and there's $500K left on the mortgage, your client can theoretically access about $250,000 on this 0% bridge loan with no monthly payments to use as a down payment on their new mortgage, or however they see fit. We do this in 24 hours, right? So you submit a client to us, we ask for an agent questionnaire, and within 24 hours, your client has a solution that they didn't have access to before, thanks to you, the mortgage broker. Super powerful stuff here when you have a client come through on a Thursday afternoon, trying to submit a winning offer by Saturday, right? All of a sudden, you're the hero. You're the debt to income hero, right? And your agent's the contingency buster. Clearly, I have a superhero theme here, but it works really well as you present this to clients. Feel free to jump to the next slide. We're going to go through a sample transaction just to go through high picture, right? As I mentioned, 24-hour departing residence approval. Your clients are going to shop contingency free with a 0% bridge loan in their back pocket, hopefully helping them go under contract on their next offer, right? Allowing them to close on a new mortgage and then sell their home at full market value. I like to say, take advantage of all the propositions of selling their home before they've even listed it, right? How powerful is that to move into your new home and not worry about the dirty rugs or not worry about the dogs and still have access to the equity in your departing residence and then sell your home at full market value, right? So the fee for the program is 2.4% of the sale of the home. And we just want your client to sell in that 90-day program period, or at least go under contract in the sale within our 90-day program period. Truly benefiting from all those propositions that we just talked about. our partnership with the Loan Store is extremely strong. This is it's really unique, right? So as you go into the next slide, you see all the states we're in. Thanks to the Loan Store, we've been able to spread nationwide really quickly. We're filling in the dots here. The departing residence just needs to be in one of these states, and your client can get access to this product, right? So help your business, help yourself, market this to your agents, right? I guarantee you go talk to an agent about this today, and they're going to be extremely happy, especially those agents that you've been buying coffee for the last 10 years. How powerful is this tool? Use it as a marketing tool. We want you to white label this in your name as much as possible, to the point where when an agent has a contingent client, they should go to you first and think of Joe's buy before you sell, right? And it's a really powerful tool as you roll this out. Feel free to give us a call. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A after this, but you'll see the benefits once you roll it out.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. I can tell you this has been the most exciting thing that we've encountered in the last couple of months. We've talked to hundreds and hundreds of realtors directly. We've obviously, rolled this out to a number of our branches from a partner perspective. And, when you get through the layers of value that Sam just represented, you really see the light bulbs go off, right? And, in talking to a lot of real estate brokers myself personally, I can tell you that when you're having that discussion for the first time, they often go to a misconception of another competitive product that exists in the market that doesn't have the same considerations that the buy before you sell through HomeLight does, right? So they're trying to, buy the property, and they're trying to supplant or interrupt their agent relationship, right? So they've been turned off by other products that have come to market. This one is constructed with the right level of consideration for the agent relationship, for all of the stress and pressure that exists with the buyer trying to qualify, as Sam explained, right? The DTI buster that is really huge. And then, we're going to facilitate that bridge loan. So it is a really, really exciting thing. It's a great way to strengthen realtor relationships. It's a great way to solve for some of this inventory challenge that we're having and kind of untap opportunities. I would just say, if you have a desire to grow your business or grow your realtor network, you've got to lead with the buy before you sell product. And to Sam's point, we'll be there to support you, right? We can absolutely help you market this product and present it. And if you want to take a step further, Sam and his team will help you become a black belt, right? So we've got a lot of rigor behind it. If you want to go deep, I would just say you've got to lead with this product. HomeLight is going to, Sam, you back me on this, but you guys are going to do some big time advertising of the program. So what I've been telling our partners recently is get this out to your realtors now, so that when they see the ads, they think of you, right? So that's a really powerful opportunity that you have to be the one to deliver a concept like this. It may take them a little bit to digest the concept because of the layers to it, but once they do, and repetition is key, we can help you with that. It's the light bulb's going to go off. They're going to ask you to come back and present to their entire branch. That's typically what we've seen, consistently from the realtors that we present this to. So it's a big deal, and it's going really well. So we're starting to see a lot of energy. If you haven't gotten on the train, jump on. So thank you, Sam. We're going to go to the next presenter, and Kat. Welcome, Kat from Figure.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me, Will. We're excited to be partners of the Loan Store and excited to talk to you today about our fast funding HELOC available to you all. So, as Will and a couple of others have mentioned, obviously it's a really challenging rate environment right now. And this product is actually really perfect for the market that we're in right now. This is a HELOC, a standalone HELOC with a fully automated underwriting, a fully digital process for the customers that can fund in as few as 3 business days. So it's an incredibly fast way for homeowners to unlock the equity that they've built up over the course of the past several years without giving up the nice low mortgage rate that they might also have. So it's a really perfect product for this current environment. And it's really perfect, for you because it's built to really be automated. Like there's not much that you are going to need to do other than introduce your customers, your clients to this product, right? So this is meant to help you strengthen relationships with your existing customers, solving a challenge that they're, really looking to tap that home equity in a way that's not really going to impede on your other business. This is something that's really meant to be simple, a new revenue stream for you without sort of adding any additional work, which is a really nice thing to have. So I would say that's, a big value for you. When you look at this product in comparison to a traditional HELOCs take about, 45 to 60 days, depending, on the paperwork and the underwriting. But because this product is based on an automated underwriting system, an AVM for the appraisal, we've got an e-closing component, which includes an e-notary. So just as we're chatting here today, there's an e-notary component within the application that makes it really seamless, really easy for your customers, as well as digital doc signing. That can all make this process take just a couple of days for customers to get their funds. So it's really a beautiful process, a really simple process, easy for you, easy for your customers to unlock up to $400,000. And the great thing too is that, customers may be, thinking about, a personal loan or something like that. Since this is a secured loan, they're probably going to be able to lock in a nice low rate. They can spread their payments up over 30 years. So it's a great way for larger ticket items to be paid for. Typically what we're seeing are people paying for home improvements. That's not a surprise. Debt consolidation is another big use case, but some of the things that we've seen customers self-reporting on their use of funds are for, medical expenses, education, especially now with the student loan tuition payments kind of kicking back up into full gear, now essentially. And so, people can really take these funds and use it for whatever they need it for, whether it be a longer term expense or whether it's something that they want to pay for right away. So it's really great in that sense. So some values, for you and for your customers. Really, when they go through the application process, the customer is going to start an application 100% online. They're going to be able to really toggle and sort of see different scenarios in terms of rates and terms, so they can really find what works best for them. The cool thing about the product too is that when you go in and you, sort of start the process of initiating an application, you're also going to have visibility into what the offer might look like for your customer. So you're going to have that visibility when you send the link out to your customer and when you're, starting to have the conversation as to like how much they might qualify for, what their rates might look like. You're going to have transparency throughout the process. Although the process is very borrower driven, you're going to be able to kind of, give that guidance up front as, the, trusted loan officer might want to, give throughout that process. The other sort of value add for your customers are that they are not having to bring forth a bunch of paperwork. So this is a really easy thing for people to do. They're going to be linking their accounts, so like a bank account, a tax account, payroll, to automatically validate their assets and income versus uploading lots of paper. Just the linking of the accounts takes literally like 30 seconds versus like uploading many, many documents. So the only thing that they're having to upload typically is just a picture of their ID. So that's really simple. The other benefit too, at the beginning, when they're looking at their rate and their offer, they're just going to have to, sort of put in a few pieces of information. They can see it, I would say, in usually like 2 to 3 minutes, just a couple pieces of information, then they're going to see their rates and their offer. It's a soft credit check only, so it's really no harm, no foul up front. They're going to see exactly what they might qualify for. And then they go through the rest of the process. Typically what we're seeing is that takes like, I would say 7 to 10 minutes in its entirety. And then as you saw on the slide, they can get their funding in just a few days. They do have the option to redraw up to 100% as needed. And the big call out here is that this is a full disbursement up front. So unlike a traditional line of credit where they can kind of draw upon it, whatever they want to take out is what will be dispersed into their account. So important to note that, and important to consider that when you're talking to your customers. So we can flip to the next slide and see where this is available. So the coverage, so we've got pretty good coverage across 28 states plus DC. We are rolling out states very often, so keep an eye out for this if you're not seeing states here covered, but you know, we're always sort of becoming available in more states. I know Texas is one that is asked about all the time. We're hoping to have coverage in Texas by end of year. And I think I'll pass it back to Will and answer any questions as we see them in the chat or at the end.
Yeah, we'll circle back just to underscore it and kind of add my perspective. Obviously, the demand for second mortgages, the need for second mortgages, as people are really tied to keeping, and rightfully so, really tied to keeping that low fixed rate first, and will be for the foreseeable future, right? Even if interest rates give a little bit next year, we're not seeing them come back down to the 3% range, you know, maybe ever. So, so I want everyone to understand, you know, think of TLS first, because we're going to be heavily committed to, you know, the partnership that we have with Figure, and we're going to make sure that you have, you know, the best options for second mortgages in the marketplace, right? So what I love about this product is it's been a couple of months since we rolled it at TLS. You know, first is the speed. Kat mentioned it. As far as the return on time invested, you've got the LO portal where you can go through the inquiry stage and get a good sense and confirmation that your customer qualifies. You know, get the assessment of value, pricing, and you know, approval. And you're 10 minutes into the process, as Kat said, for, you know, a nice return. The fact that it's automated and there's a light lift means that there's really not a processing component, right? The borrower is kind of going to do all of that on their own, and so therefore it maximizes the return on that time invested to the LO, right? So they can we are going to pay 1.75 in comp on this product. So. Very well timed there, Mr. Brad. Thank you, sir. So really excited about the partnership with Figure. You know, our fast funding HELOC is kind of a really special product. I think it's a very valuable tool. And if you haven't given it a chance, you want to check it out. So next up, we're going to kick it over to my friend who is also in Texas, Mr. Adam Wagner. Adam.
All right. I am the shadowy figure representing Old North. And I don't mean to be shadowy, but apparently my ring light isn't quite working today. So, hi, everybody. Sitting in beautiful Austin, Texas, talking about Old North, which in alignment with what Will has been, you know, pushing into the market, our AEs have pushed into the market. And really the message we want to get across is TLS, the loan store, we're different than a meat and potatoes mortgage company, right? We want to be an entire suite of financial services. Right now in the industry, you know, if we want to use a baseball analogy, none of us are getting too many fastballs these days. We got to learn to hit the curve and the changeup and the slider and just the junk that's coming our way, right? And Cody's such a great example of that. He keeps jumping in head first, reinventing himself, and to Will's point, in a maturity that is well beyond his years. So an impressive guy there that we've had the privilege to meet and work with. But part of that, you know, trying to be something to everybody is a little bit misguided. So I want to make sure that we really understand what the Old North value propositions are. We're not a fund that just simply will finance any product or project. And your AEs have a lot of really strong understanding of kind of what our wheelhouse is. But I'll go through a little bit of it today, because for what we offer, we have an incredibly compelling product. So meat and potatoes for Old North is really construction, can be from the ground up, can be fix and flip. We do a lot of fix and flip. That could be a very intense project down to the studs. It could be $50,000 in renovations, you know. I think HGTV has ruined everybody for us. We're not really here for a coat of paint, but we want to allow an investor or somebody who has an eye on a greater value, what we would term an ARV, an opportunity to make a strong investment. You as the broker to get entrenched deeper with realtor and builder partners who really don't have access to these funds all the time. Or more importantly, if they do have partners, not always is the partner willing and able to fund every single deal. So normally first mortgages, Fannie Freddie, you maybe got your favorite broker, maybe you got your secondary, maybe a tertiary at worst. In this world, it's very common to have 3, 4, 5, 6 people constantly looking at your deals because not everybody's going to take them on. It's almost non-QM on steroids. So think of it this way, from keeping us always in your roster, right? We're in the bullpen, we're ready to go. I don't know if the baseball analogies are working, but I'm gonna stick with them. So where we really shine is fix and flip, new construction, because we only look at the asset. So we don't pull credit, we don't look at income docs, we don't do a typical underwrite. We let the asset itself, the home, the duplex, the project, really has to speak for itself. And we want to end up in about that 70% ARV at the end of the project, right? So we'll finance up to 85% or so of an original purchase, meaning you can go out and secure a property with only 15% down. We'll likely finance 100% of the construction or rehab. And then we need to end up with a future value, right? An ARV that puts us in about that 70% or so range. So the first time I heard this, felt complicated, just like Sam's product. The second time I heard it, okay, I get it, but it's got to be a catch. Okay, fine. Don't think of it as necessarily something you have to navigate. Not every deal works, but we do truly want to see your deals. They may not always work for us, but at least we can help you kind of understand where the pitfalls are and perhaps what you should solve with your borrower moving forward. It's a fascinating education to get into this world. So don't feel as if you're going to be bothering us. Don't feel as if I'm not sure if this is a right fit for you. Throw it our way, right? Between myself, Mitch, our team, we've got people that can look at this and give you some pretty precise feedback as to, hey, this is why it works, this is why it doesn't, and also allows you to kind of better work with your realtor and your builder partners. If you wanted us to give a presentation to a large builder or a large realtor in your area, we'd be happy to do that as well. But really, we want to empower you, just like Sam, just like Figure. You know, we want to position you guys as the front line and white label in essence. So it is a private fund. It's wholly controlled by the loan store. So we lend our own money. You know, if Mitch likes you, you're golden. So be nice to Mitch, send him gifts. But they're also non-owner occupied investment held properties. So they're held in an LLC and they're non-owner occupied. Okay. So there are a little bit of, you know, guidance issues that we'll walk through with folks, especially first timers. But really add this to your ability and your value props to your builders, even homeowners, right? We constantly take on homeowners that do kind of fix and flips on the side, a couple projects here and there. As long as there's some comps to support it and you've got some real clean math behind the actual purchase price, the renovations or the improvements, and then that next value. Think of it this way. Mitch and I just looked at a deal here in Austin, Texas. It was a build. Gentleman showed us some comps. He said, hey, I think this thing's going to be worth about 1.8 when it's done. We did our math. We said, yep, actually agree with you. We need to be at about 70% of that end value. He submitted a budget, land, construction, everything. We looked at it again, boom, done. So now that's a little utopian, let's be real, but that's the kind of speed and underwriting you're looking at. It is asset based. So if the math on the asset makes sense, we want to be a player. So with that and all the fun that we will all have together, I'll give it back to Will.
Thank you, Adam. No, this is really exciting for us as well. You know, the fact that we own a private money, if you want to call it hard money lender, is a first for me. And it really does align well with our whole mentality. I think you can see by all of the presenters today and everything that we're talking about, it's our purpose right now to arm and equip our broker partners with as many options as they have to serve more of their referral network. So, keep the revenue in your, from your network in front of you, right? Go to the same people that you're already working with and turn them into, referral partners. And I think one aspect that's so cool to hear from my perspective and the stories that I've heard is, the partners that have found builder relationships that continue to do multiple transactions, because that is going to be a compensation opportunity on every transaction that they send. So it's one connection to Adam and Mitch and team could result in multiple opportunities for compensation revenue going forward. So love the fact that we have, rounded out our product offering by going as far as offering hard money. Why is California in a different color of blue, Adam? Can you speak to that?
Yes, we're in there. Surprisingly,
I know they're different, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with political leanings or anything else or droughts, but we're in their licensing funnel, so we're applied for. There's a gray area of whether or not we can take those deals or not. Every day we expect to be approved, so don't shy away, but don't be surprised if we can't exactly take a California deal tonight. We're anxiously awaiting it when the California regulators bless us with their magic pen.
The California is coming soon, and another big area of interest and opportunity I know is Florida. And Florida is on our radar as well. So, if you're not familiar with the Loan Store, I'll give you a little background as we go to the next slide, and I kind of recap before the Q&A. Most of our team transitioned from Home Point to the Loan Store back in early April. The Loan Store has been in business since 2019. Kind of a lean platform, right? Really great service-oriented lender. Got a great reputation for doing right by the broker community. And, we brought a very experienced team into the mix. So the sales folks that I've worked with are the best I've worked with in the last 20 years. The same thing goes for operations. So what to expect when you're dealing with TLS, in addition to, differentiated, wholesome product offering, is an experienced account executive that's kind of your first line of defense, paired with, someone you have direct access to, whether it be in underwriting, closing, and on the escalation side. We're not hard to find, right? When things go off the tracks, our team's going to be there. We're not going to be hard to find. And, you're going to be solving the problems that arise in our business with a very experienced counterpart on the other side that really cares to find a good solution, good resolution for you. So you were leaning into product expansion, as you guys can see. The next thing, we just rolled FHA and we just launched our full non-Dell offering, right? So in the last 4 months, our team has been very, very busy. I've been in the wholesale business for about 20 years, and I've never seen an organization go faster than what our team has done. So it's really been a Herculean task. Although we're a smaller, leaner organization, we're moving really fast and we're moving big rocks fast and in favor of the broker community. I mean, as I look forward to Q4, Q1, and I do it with open eyes into, what we're staring down the barrel of, it's going to be a really tough winter, right? So what do? We've got to go wide. We've got to have as many products as we can. You should expect us to not only have, the best product offering in the business, we're also going to be consistently competitive on our pricing, right? So we pair the expertise with a full product offering. You've heard from these amazing innovators, so to say, that are on our panel. They're here to support you as well. And if you haven't given TLS an opportunity yet, you need to jump into the family. So with that, I think it's a great opportunity for us to shift over to our Q&A. And, Brad, you can keep us honest. I think the interesting thing about this platform is the community aspect. It's kind of cool. We've got people already jumping in and providing solutions and answers to the questions that have been presented. But I will jump on a few of them. Nick, I agree. Thank you, sir. But as far as our expansion, so, TLS is evolving. As I said, we just launched FHA in the last month or so. We're going strong with our government offering. We're just finished out, building the entire non-Dell platform. In addition to that, we've taken, the licensing footprint states from somewhere in the high 20s to now we're approaching 40. And we're going to continue to go aggressively towards, all 50 states. The timeline, I think, Nick, you nailed it. By the end of Q3, we should be in 48 states. It takes a while to get New York and Massachusetts. So those are likely to be the last ones to round out our product offering. And that'll apply. I know we showed you guys a bunch of maps. That'll apply to our normal lending footprint, and then additionally to the HomeLight offering for buy before you sell. So those are the two things that we're really expanding. On the Old North side, working to add Florida and California in the next 60, 90 days. But that's going to have a different licensing footprint because it's just a different segment of the business with different considerations. So let's see. I'm digging to find some additional questions. I think we had an explanation, Adam, for the ARV, the after repair value. But if you want to just go back high level on that for a second, I think that's always a point of.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, you'll hear it referenced as after repair, after renovation every once in a while, but think of it as the end result of the work you've done. So if you acquire a property for 500 and you want to put 200 into it, you're sitting at 700 against it. We need that to look at about 70%. So that would equate to an ARV of about $1 million in that case. So if you thought that property could be supported by a couple comps in the area, previous sales, something that's on the market right now at about that million or so range, you've got about 700 in it, i.e. 70% or so ARV, that would be an acceptable conclusion for us. 70 isn't a hard line in the sand. We go up, we go down. Mitch rolls the dice every morning to see what he wants to do. But as a thought process, as you're kind of structuring your deals, you can either work forwards or backwards. Sometimes it's a lot easier to work backwards, meaning find what that home you think will be worth, see if you can support it with a comp or two, and then work your deal backwards, saying, okay, what did you acquire it for? Did you have to acquire the land separately? A lot of builders are bringing us paid off land, which really helps that calculation. So all they're doing is putting $300,000, $500,000, $700,000 in construction costs with a paid off lot. That makes the ARV pretty easy at the end of the day. But really, again, what you're looking for is this thing at the very end, when everything's said and done, all my improvements are made, am I going to be sitting at about a 70% or so LTV of the sales price? So ARV is just a version of saying that, if that makes sense.
No, I think you broke it down nicely. Thank you. And I'm going to put you on, while I have you, I want you to call William after this call. So it looks like he needs some help on some Old North opportunities. So for all of you asking for a replay, we'll be sure to point you to that opportunity. And we'll also catch up with those who don't have an AE. Absolutely. So, Kat, we've got a couple of HELOC questions. First one is minimum HELOC amount. Did we hit that?
Yeah, sure. It's 25,000 and max is 400,000.
Thank you much. Additionally, Victor asks, is the standalone HELOC provided by the loan store?
Yes. So what is happening is the loan store is actually private labeling our technology at Figure. So we're just the underlying technology provider. You're going to go through the loan store to get access to the HELOC and offer that to your customers.
Beautiful, beautiful. Right, Mike, we'll get you an AE, so don't sweat it. Guys, help me out. Are we seeing any additional questions that we haven't covered yet, or we've got some time on the clock? We can answer more. Brad, do you see anything that we missed?
Scrolling through right now, do not see any. People have done a good job of answering questions themselves in the comments. So, like you said, a great community effort here today.
Yeah, I think I'll kind of close with a few more thoughts and then open it up to the presenters to see if they have anything to add. Look, it's a challenging market. We know it. And, to Cody's point, we're a community. We're a strong community when we're together, and we're all here to help each other. And, one way that we can do so is to align with innovators. And that's really what I'm the most excited about. That's what makes my job fun. Is the products that we're talking about today are things that I really believe in, and I've seen provide opportunity, create opportunity in a down market, right? So if you haven't taken a little time to get versed in the non-traditional product set, do it. That's what I would urge you to do. Each one of these presenters has a team behind them that can educate you and help you get familiar and optimize the opportunity that exists there. And we'll keep rolling more stuff. So in the next 2 weeks, we're going to do a guideline refresh on 9QM. So we're coming hard with that, and there'll be more to come in the next weeks and months. So anybody else have anything to add? Any other points of light before we close it out? Good to go. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We will be back with you guys again next month. Thanks to our panelists. Appreciate it. Have a good one.